Okay, let's take a look at this work and see how volume and depth are created. Certainly the overlapping objects help to create depth, as you see some objects in front of other objects. And you have this large cone in front, and having large objects in front and then gradually decreasing the size helps to create depth also. And then you see the lines. Now the lines get a little closer together, but mostly they're shading here, and so having dark around the edges, because we know that dark colors recede, really help to create some volume in here. And so you have this big lighter area here, and so that tends to come forward. The same here, this will come forward because it's light and big, and then gradually you see these lines get closer together and darker, and so the shading and diminishing space between the lines is helping to create some volume, so it appears to have some height and width to it, creating volume. There's really not linear perspective, because there you would be looking for a place where all the lines would converge, and they really don't. They stay pretty parallel with all of these. You see they're staying parallel, so you really can't call that linear perspective. You see here they're lighter, and then it gradually gets darker, and so it's easier to make that bend as you go along. Now you have lighter objects in the background, and really if they wanted to create better depth, these objects would be duller, so lower in saturation, and a little bit darker in value, because we know that things that are dark in value and low in saturation tend to recede. But having a common background here with some splotches and other things does help kind of pull this together and add a little bit of variety in the work. So there's certainly a good variety in pointed shapes and rounded shapes, and then you have these jagged shapes. You have different size squiggles in here, so there's great variety. Now, in terms of harmony, you're looking for something that's repeating, and these lines certainly are repeated throughout, and then having this background repeated throughout helps you create some harmony to the work. There's great movement in the design. All of these diagonal lines really help create movement as your eye moves all around the different spaces.